haven't slept in almost 2 weeks because my dog has been barking at me for 11 nights. Every time I open my eyes, my dog starts barking again. The Office of Anomaly Safety calls it a recognition trigger. Stay with me because OAS is going to show you what happened to me before they arrived. Kindly stay tuned.
The following report was received by the Office of Anomaly Safety from the rural township of North Hollow. Over the past 2 weeks, multiple residents had filed noise complaints regarding continuous nighttime barking coming from a single address on Old Timber Road. The source was identified as the Turner residence, home to Davis and Linda Turner, and their 17-year-old son, Eli. According to the reports, the family's dog, a golden retriever named Rusty, had been barking without pause for 11 consecutive nights. Each incident occurred between the hours of 2 and 4 in the morning. At first, neighbors assumed it was an animal disturbance, but when officers arrived to check, they found Rusty calm and silent, watching the doorway of Eli's room. Enclosed with the official complaint packet was a handwritten letter by Eli himself. The writing was uneven, hurried, and spotted with what appeared to be water stains. He claimed in it that his dog wasn't barking at intruders or sounds outside the house. He said Rusty was barking at him. Extracts from Eli Turner's personal journal were attached to the case file. The first entries begin calmly, describing Rusty's sudden habit of barking every night at precisely 2:33 a.m. Eli notes the time each night with increasing precision, as if trying to prove to himself it's just coincidence. He writes that Rusty faces the same spot, the narrow gap beneath his bedroom door, and growls softly between bursts of barking, like he's warning something to stay out. Eli suspects raccoons under the porch, or headlights from the road outside, but when he checks, the yard is empty and still. By the fourth night, Eli notices a pattern. Rusty only begins barking after Eli wakes up. When he pretends to sleep, pulling the blanket over his head, the noise stops entirely. If he opens his eyes again, even without moving, Rusty's growl returns immediately, low and guttural. It's like he knows when I'm watching. One entry reads, Eli describes lying frozen in bed, heart pounding, staring at the dog through the half-open door. He's not barking at the window anymore, he writes. He's barking at me. From that line onward, his handwriting begins to shake, the spacing uneven, as if his hands were trembling while he wrote. At first, Eli's parents dismissed his worries as nerves and lack of sleep. His father joked that Rusty was just picking up on teenage guilt, claiming dogs could sense things their owners tried to hide. His mother offered a gentler answer. Maybe the dog was anxious, reacting to stress in the house. For a while, they both laughed about it over breakfast, telling Eli to close his door at night if it bothered him so much. But on the sixth night, they heard it too. The barking had changed, deeper, strained, almost like it came from a throat trying too hard to sound canine. Eli's father got up to quiet the dog, only to find Rusty standing stiff in the hallway, his fur bristled, eyes locked on Eli's room. The sound stopped the moment the bedroom light flicked on, leaving the air heavy and wrong. The next morning, his mother tried to comfort the dog, kneeling by his food bowl. When she reached to open Eli's door, Rusty lunged between them, teeth bared, growling with a sound that didn't belong in an animal's body. That night, nobody mentioned it. The family ate dinner in silence, forks clinking softly, pretending nothing had happened. But every few minutes, all three of them would glance toward the hallway, toward the door that Rusty never stopped watching. Eli's next journal entries shift from restless confusion to quiet panic. He writes that Rusty's barking began spreading beyond the bedroom. Every time Eli walked through the hallway, Rusty would freeze near the old mirror that hung opposite his room. It was an antique piece, tall, heavy, and warped slightly from age. The first time it happened, Eli thought Rusty was just reacting to his own reflection. But the dog's posture wasn't defensive. It was warning. He stood between Eli and the glass, growling so fiercely that spittle dripped from his muzzle. One night, curious and exhausted, Eli stepped closer. He noticed something subtle. The reflection wasn't matching his movements perfectly. When he tilted his head, the version in the mirror followed a moment later, just a second off. He blinked hard, thinking his mind was playing tricks on him. But then Rusty barked again, sharp, desperate, and Eli saw it clearly. His reflection's eyes didn't blink with him. They stayed open, staring straight ahead, dark and unblinking. He wrote that he ran back to his room and slammed the door, while Rusty's barking filled the house until dawn. The next morning, without a word, Eli's parents covered the mirror with a white sheet. They didn't explain why. His father only muttered, "Let's just not use that hallway for a while." From then on, nobody walked past it after dark. Eli's final journal entry begins in a rush, the words scrawled and jagged, each line angling across the page as if his hand couldn't keep up with his fear. He writes that Rusty refused to enter his room that night, standing stiff at the threshold and barking incessantly, low and urgent. Every time Eli shifted or even breathed too loudly, the dog's growl intensified, vibrating through the floorboards like a warning. Hours passed. Eli describes hearing soft breathing behind him, shallow and uneven, though when he spun around, the hallway remained empty. He called out for his parents, his voice shaking, but the house stayed silent. The only response came from Rusty, barking, growling, and pacing just beyond the door. The dog's eyes glinted in the darkness, fixed not on Eli, but on the corner of the room where the shadows seemed to stretch unnaturally long. As dawn approached, Eli could no longer ignore it. He opened the door slowly. Rusty immediately backed away, hackles raised, growling at something that wasn't Eli. Eli turned his head, and that's when he stopped writing. The entry ends mid-sentence, the final words jagged and incomplete. "I thought it was just the dog, but when I looked..." The OAS field team arrived at the Turner residence late the following morning. Initial inspection revealed subtle signs of forced entry, door frames slightly splintered, locks undisturbed, and no alarms triggered. Inside, the home appeared largely undisturbed at first glance, though the absence of all mirrors drew immediate attention. Dusty surfaces revealed faint scuff marks, suggesting movement patterns inconsistent with normal activity. Rusty, the family dog, was found outside near the front porch, dehydrated but alive. The animal remained stationary, facing the front door, ears alert, as if waiting for someone, or something, to return. Investigators documented 3 distinct sets of footprints leading through the main hallway, one clearly belonging to Eli, one to his parents, and a third, anomalous set. Unlike the others, this third trail ascended the hallway wall halfway up before disappearing entirely, leaving investigators puzzled. No structural damage explained the trajectory, and no physical records suggested human presence in that location. The field report notes the correlation to Eli's journal. Each footprint corresponds with nights of documented barking, implying a repeated nocturnal pattern. OAS analysts emphasized that the scene reinforced the anomaly's evolving behavior and its possible interaction with familiar household objects, in this case, mirrors and thresholds, highlighting the creature's capacity to manipulate ordinary spaces in ways that defy conventional logic. The Office of Anomaly Safety urges all residents to remain vigilant regarding the behavior of household animals, particularly during nighttime hours. If a pet begins to bark, growl, or otherwise fixate on an individual or their reflection for more than 3 consecutive nights, do not attempt to confront or intervene. Immediate evacuation of the residence is recommended, followed by prompt notification to your nearest OAS branch. Citizens are further advised to cover mirrors or reflective surfaces in areas frequented by pets until official guidance can be issued. Under no circumstances should individuals attempt to reason with the animal or observe it directly during episodes, as anomalous entities may exploit recognition to establish influence. While these precautions may appear excessive, field analysis confirms that early detection and adherence to protocol are critical in preventing escalation. The Office of Anomaly Safety continues to monitor incidents nationwide and will update the public with verified safety measures as investigations proceed.